community event on the Teaching English Facebook and YouTube channels. My name is Marcus James. I'm part of the Teaching English team. And today we're going to be doing a question and answer session with two of our recent presenters from our AI for Inclusion mini event. And you can find a link to the recordings and the handouts in the description of this video. So to the right of me, in the middle of your screen, is Katherine Reilly. How are you today, Katherine?
I'm fine, Marcus. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to answer our colleagues' questions. We had a huge attendance, didn't we?
Massive attendance and a lot of questions to follow up, and audience as well, teachers watching. If you do have any follow-up questions for both Katherine and Hamid, I do pop them in the live chat. We've got Karen, who's moderating in the background. On the right of your screen is Hamid. How are you today, Hamid? Sorry, I can't pronounce your last name. Could you say it for me?
I am absolutely thrilled. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet everyone and each of you. I am infinitely sorry in advance if we are probably going to face some technical issues. I'm afraid there is a kind of unstable internet connection on my side, so I have to make an apology in advance because sometimes you're breaking for me, but I'm trying to contribute as much as possible. Thank you for everything indeed.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. And I'm sure teachers from around the world, myself included, are more than familiar with technical issues, especially during live meetings like this. Excellent. So the event that you both presented at was a couple of weeks ago, the 23rd of May, AI for Inclusion. We've popped a link in the description of this video if teachers would like to sort of see your full presentations or download the very useful handouts that come with them. But could you just give us a brief summary? What's in it for teachers if they're interested? Hamid, what was your presentation about?
My session revolved around transforming mixed ability classes with the assistance of AI. And during that session, we tried to address some of the most pedagogical, let's say, ethical issues or practical issues that students as well as teachers might encounter when they are dealing with diverse needs of learners. And throughout that session, if I'm going to look at the practical side, I did introduce several websites allowing teachers to engage all learners while using AI. In particular, for example, the website Skybox Blockade Labs was introduced where the teachers can use visuals. Not only that, one of the major features of mixed ability classes would be like adapting the tasks either up or adapting the tasks down through some text-to-text AI generators, and they all gained a better understanding of how, for example, use a website such as Vocab Kitchen to, let's say, change the content or change the let's say the level of complexity that might need the students' needs. This is particularly what we talked about, some practical ideas along with the theories concerning teaching with mixed ability classes. There was also a very beautiful analogy from Jim Rose about, let's say, visualizing a mixed ability classroom like a lift or an elevator that everybody would have the chance to be dragged in, going up, going down. That's all about what I have shared on that day.
Excellent. I love that metaphor anyway, but the lift, and we all sort of get off at different destinations. Katherine, what about yours? What was your presentation focused on?
Well, the whole idea was to use AI to create opportunities for all students. And we basically use AI to redefine how we approach inclusivity in the English language classroom. And we talked about examples of how you can use AI in simple ways with software that you don't need to actually purchase. You can find it for free online. And we use this for personalized learning, adapting assessments, and providing individual feedback. The whole idea is to create and design learning environments that celebrate differences in race, gender, sexual orientation, disability, and special educational needs, while also creating equitable opportunities for all students. The whole idea is to have all students become an active part of the learning experience. Everyone has a right to learning. And that's what I hope this presentation helped our colleagues manage.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And obviously, you've already mentioned a couple of tools, both of you, and during your presentations you did as well. I'm sure teachers are going to be asking for those, but don't worry. If you do check out the link in the description, you can find not just the recordings of the presentations, but also some very, very useful handouts with some of their recommended AI tools as well. Just would love to give a quick shout out to the global community of teachers from around the world who are watching right now. We've got Sweet Caroline from Mongolia. We've got Wal in Cairo, Maria Fernanda in Spain, Jasby in Philippines, Faten in Tunisia, and Carmen in Peru, Imran in Bangladesh. Excellent. Lots and lots and lots. Quick question here, Ismail. Do you mind if I take screenshots and share in LinkedIn at the end of the webinar? Ismail, go for it. Just make sure you tag British Council and Teaching English. And if you can find Katherine and Hamed's profiles as well, tag them in it.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead. Spread the love. Excellent, excellent. Now, obviously, when we're talking about AI, AI is a fantastic tool. It is relatively new. Most parts of the world are finding their feet in terms of rules and regulations. What types of things should we, as teachers, be aware of when using AI? What sort of considerations should we really have just to help use AI in a safe way? I'll throw that to Katherine first. What do you think? What should teachers be aware of when using AI?
Well, to be honest, one of the issues that we face as educators is that students think that AI is going to do all their homework. It's going to focus on preparing all their exercises and their tasks. We have to remind teachers that AI is not the answer. It's a support, it's a tool. And we have to show our students how important it is for them to understand this. We try to use AI to scaffold the process, help a student brainstorm ideas, get unstuck, or adapt a task to their level. But the thinking, reflection, and output, that's still theirs. So it's about using AI to build a dependence, not dependency. And we have to make this clear from the get-go that yes, you can use AI, we'll all use it in class together, but we want to foster your critical thinking. We want you to think for yourselves. But it's not only that, we should be aware of the limitations that occur in every country. Some countries approve a specific age that a student may be able to use AI, or about sharing personal information. We don't share personal information online. So there are a lot of factors that we should take into consideration. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And Hamed, you're obviously using it, to maybe help sort of with differentiation, with mixed ability classes. What are your main considerations when choosing an AI tool?
So now I'm just double checking. Am I audible? Am I right? Because you were
Yes.
breaking up. I am infinitely sorry. Well, let me put it in another way. Let's say, are there any risks to be aware of when we are using AI? And I believe, yes, like there are several pedagogical and ethical as well as practical risks to be well aware of. Like pedagogically speaking, we do need to bear in mind that over-reliance on any AI tools may de-skill teachers or probably narrow the scope of, let's say, interaction in the classroom. Ethically, if you're talking about like some issues around data privacy, the bias in algorithms and the intellectual property are paramount. I would also like to quote some other scholars who mentioned that practically AI generated content may not always be very accurate. So we do need to double check the content, or culturally it might be a little bit sensitive. Let's say, and often it might lack the contextual appropriateness. So teachers all around the world are required to act as critical mediators and evaluating AI, the content beforehand. It's crucial to bear in mind whether it provides us with something very, let's say, appropriate or not. It's crucial. It's crucial to have a critical eye, and the tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all these text-to-text AI generator might hallucinate or reinforce the dominant cultural norms, unless we are carefully being guided and we are trying to check everything. Again, I am infinitely sorry we're breaking up, and I'm not sure if everything has been, let's say, mentioned. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Katherine.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Hamid. Yeah, I've got a few comments coming through now from teachers. Eliberto on Facebook, it says, I totally agree. AI is a great tool. Fatin here, using AI tools in teaching the English language is like adding spices, animation, creativity, and innovation. As a teacher, I have to use it wisely, good, sensible, and carefully with young learners. Now, that's a very good point in itself, because AI, really is only supposed to be used by those over 13, and even then, obviously with parental or guardian consent. So obviously do make sure that you check in with parents or your school policy when using AI, but I don't think it's something we would use for primary.
You guys, I have no idea why.
Got a few. This
Can you
one.
actually comment on the previous because one of the issues with AI is that it might produce some content that we have to examine before presented to the students. Let's not forget that there's a lot of bias in AI, and what the artificial intelligence does produce is based on sources that it finds online. So not all sources are valid. That's one issue. And in many cases, it might omit stories or representation from ethnic minorities, LGBTQI experiences. And I sometimes ask my students, what do you think about this video that I just showed you? It was produced with AI. Or what about the text that I showed you? Whose voices are not in here? And it's like a teachable moment for my students. I want them to think. And they're like, why didn't it mention our festival? Why didn't AI mention this culture fact? And they build upon what I offer them. So it should be viewed as a tool, but in a careful manner.
You're absolutely right. Especially, in the early days, it is still learning, and all the AI tools do come with those disclaimers. For us to obviously.
So I have to make an apology. I am unable to hear you very well.
Okay, sorry about that. Hamid, just jump in whenever you do hear some some things that are more audible from us. We've got quite a few comments actually now. There's one from Natalia. AI is very disadvantageous to some extent. So many irregularities and loopholes. Just saying. AI in business is another area to look into for virtual assistant vendors. That's a good point there, virtual assistants as well. I know a lot of teachers are using AI themselves to sort of help them plan their lessons, to help with student admin as well. It's great. Another comment here from Al-Thur Ahmed. I think it is better to convince our students before using AI. We have to tell them that AI will help them and not to depend on it totally to do assignment for you. We have to tell them to attend seriously to our advice and not rely on AI. What are your thoughts on this comment?
Hamid or me? Yeah. I can actually comment just a little on this first, and then, Hamid can
Go for it.
also fill in. Well, I keep telling my students that when the tool is used with purpose, then it is actually a beneficial instrument. So students often say things like, this made it easier, or I don't know, I finally understood that word. AI doesn't replace our teaching, but it does remove some blocks. And it's this extra support that learners need. When the learners feel supported, they open up. Now, okay, I'm a teacher. I've also enjoyed using AI, especially because it gives me new ways to personalize learning and, of course, save prep time, which I can then spend connecting with my students and focus on even more questions that they might have and fill in some questions that they actually have. And I would not have time otherwise in class to answer. Hamid, would you like to say something?
Sorry, if you don't mind, I would like to jump in as well.
Yes.
And I definitely see
Thank you.
eye to eye with what has been mentioned and what you have rightly pointed out, dear Catherine. What I am doing sometimes in my classroom, like if I'm meeting my students 3 or 4 times a week, I am allocating 10 minutes or 15 minutes per week and raising their awareness and trying to let them know and guide them and instruct them how to use it. Even if they are supposed to use it for assignment, I am trying to tell them how to use it and raise their awareness that it could be a great tool for the sake of learning, not just, let's say, completing a task and checking the box and then submit. This is what I'm trying to do every week or every 2 weeks, where I have 10-minute or 15-minute AI time. And I reckon, as Catherine at the very beginning of her presentation on 23rd of May has mentioned, that like in China, the government and the Ministry of Education are trying to allocate a certain amount of time and trying to implement some changes to their curriculum and add AI tools. What I'm doing is to raise the students' awareness and let them know how they could use it, but not being over relying on it or not being highly dependent.
That is actually, that is actually an issue that we're facing as individuals in society. Everyone, okay, that's a very general term, but the majority of the population has become over-dependent on social media, which is intricately intertwined with AI. And the problem is that we are becoming passive recipients of information. The whole point is, as educators, we have to open our students' eyes and tell them information is great, but you have to also depend on your critical thinking and assess the information that you're absorbing. I think that's the whole idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, it's nothing new, really, is it? I mean, the internet, when we started using it with our learners, we integrated into our teaching, critical thinking, sort of digital skills, knowing what to look for, recognizing or trying to recognize what's real from what's not, what's fact versus what's opinion. However, with AI, it's a lot more difficult because it's so much more realistic in what it can generate. I'm not sure if you've seen on social media recently, but there was a very realistic video going around of a kangaroo trying to board a flight, and so many comments were from people who genuinely thought it was real because it was so very realistic. So it's incredible what we can do. I mean, it's very believable. So it's always good to be critical, but we can't always recognize as easily the same signs. Loads of great comments coming through. Would like to pull up one I just did right now because I think it started a bit of a debate in the comments. Where has it gone? Let me find it. This one from Nuri. Don't you think that AI might affect negatively on teaching and or learning process? I think you kind of touched on that just now. I think we both agreed that it does have a negative possibility, but how can we sort of deal with that?
Would you like me to answer? Yeah. Okay. Well, how do we deal with such? Yes, Hamed. Yes. Yes, please.
No, I am unable to hear you. No, I would be really thankful if you just repeat. I didn't catch what you said. It was breaking. I am infinitely sorry.
Yes. Okay. So the thing is that since we're talking about how AI may affect negatively, the teaching side or the learning process, we touched upon this earlier, but I have to say that it's up to the teacher to strike a balance and apply what works and what doesn't. If AI is a useful tool that can remove barriers and enrich the teaching experience, we have to balance what we can implement and what not. So I always try to experiment in class. And when I use an application, an artificial intelligence application, I'm like, this works. Or during my presentation, I asked ChatGPT to offer me a model outline. Now, ChatGPT actually started producing examples in the whole sentence and the whole writing. I don't want that. I do want a structure that the students can follow, but I don't want the AI to write the whole thing. So I had these parts removed before I presented them to my students. So yes, as teachers, we have to be vigilant and alert concerning what we actually use AI for and what we present to our students.
Okay. Excellent. Anything to add, Hamid?
So, am I audible now? Okay, so shall I? I am infinitely sorry again. I have to make an apology for this unstable internet connection. Yes, I definitely see eye to eye with what you have rightly pointed out. So it's like a double-edged sword. It depends to a large degree on how much training has taken place in your learning or teaching context for both the teachers, first and foremost teachers, and then the teachers would gain a deeper and a better understanding of how they could implement changes and they could use it a lot more effectively, and raising the students' awareness as well. You've definitely got a point there, dear Katherine. I believe that it is crucial, it is absolutely vital to use AI tools primarily to facilitate the learning process for our students, that might help to maximize the level of engagement amongst learners, and it could definitely save a huge amount of our time as teachers, specifically when it comes to the preparation of the material. So a prime example of an activity was like pass it on, which was the idea that I got from Penier about like how to create an individualized and a personalized task, or converting a particular task from the book that might meet the diverse needs of your learners through, for example, an AI generator, text-to-text or text-to-image generator. That's it. Again, I am unable to hear you. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Question from Rachna, who's in Mauritius. What happens to my pupils who are not tech savvy if they cannot use AI or have access to AI? Advice?
Okay. I'd like to answer that because I'm doing another session quite soon for British Council South Asia, and that's the theme of my presentation. There are many students who do not have access to anything that has to do with social media, internet in general. And the whole thing is that the teacher must try to support these students in any way the teacher can. For example, one of the issues that some of my students have is, for example, reading comprehension. They find the text difficult. So I use AI as a means for scaffolding. I produce the same text in a simpler version. For example, if it's an intermediate level, I might make another version of it at an elementary level. Chat AI will also produce some multiple choice questions, a verb list, synonyms, and these can be printed and offered to the student for further study. Now, the whole idea is to offer them various alternatives to learning and to support them in any way we can, be it by preparing something at our homes, having the secretary or the school owner print some handouts to help them out. Hopefully, there is internet connection at the school. If there is, then have them part of the learning process. Actually, have them use the computer in class with your supervision, of course, if they want to produce a PowerPoint. And it's not only about access to technology. The easiest thing to do is to have printouts of what you created on ChatGPT or any AI program for that matter, and share these with your students. I think there are always ways of doing so.
Excellent. Love that. Loads more comments and questions coming through. This one quickly from Maria Fernanda, who says, I agree with you, Catherine. People are very dependent of social media. Not always a bad thing. We're obviously streaming on both Facebook and YouTube right now. So I'm not going to say anything bad about those platforms right now. Right. This one, I know we touched on it earlier. Nabila says, people in general, teachers and students, are likely to become addicted and dependent of AI. We have also to be aware if the fact that AI can make mistakes, grammar, provide unfactual information. So what can we do as teachers to, I guess, help our learners sort of have a little mental checklist, or at least, do some critical thinking? How can we encourage our students to think twice when using AI?
Hamed, me?
Sorry, yeah, if you don't mind, I would also like to highlight the importance of, let's say, encouraging collaborative use as well, like even pairing or grouping learners strategically allows those with access to help others without creating inequality. It's crucial to provide learners with a platform where they can give some particular amount of time to think about the information that it generates. So let's say it's crucial to provide them with ample opportunity with AI generated outputs in classroom to engage with. It's crucial to give them the chance just to discuss a little bit and reflect upon what is happening before just accepting whatever it suggests. I'm afraid I am breaking up. Okay, Catherine, you carry on. I'll get back.
Sure. Of course. I'm going to focus mostly on the addicted part and being dependent of AI. There are some schools in my country. Well, first of all, public schools in my country, here in Greece for the moment, have banned the use of phones at school. I teach at a private school and they haven't banned them there. So the moment we have a break, it's recess time, everyone just takes out their phones and they're addicted to it. I literally beg them to go outside and play and do something. Unfortunately, we are seeing the repercussions of technology on our students, on our children today in society. Can we make a change as teachers and open their eyes and tell them that there's more life than using technology 24/7? I don't know if we can do that. We're along for this incredible ride. I'm not saying it's a welcome ride, but since we are living in the year 2025, we have to at least try to reap the benefits of this situation and strive for a better tomorrow. And I think that it's all of our responsibility to show our students that there's more to life than holding a phone. If you do want to use technology, do it for the better improvement of yourself. And I guess that's the message that we have to pass on to future generations.
Absolutely. Could not agree with you anymore. Catherine and Hamed, 30 minutes have just absolutely
Oh my
flown by. And it always does. It's always the case. I mean, I could Well, I'm sure you could as well talk about
We can talk
AI.
more if you want.
Well, AI and in education, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do check out, we've got loads and loads of resources. Karen, who's moderating, will be posting a link to our AI pathway where you can find lots and lots of resource. There's obviously a link in the description to the AI for Inclusion mini event that took place on the 23rd of May, where both Katherine and Hamid presented two very popular sessions, and you can find recordings as well as their even more useful handouts with plenty of AI tool recommendations. Thank you, Katherine and Hamid. It's been a fantastic session, very popular with teachers watching around the world as well. So hopefully we'll see you back soon.
Definitely. It would be our pleasure.
Excellent. Anyway, Hamid, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.